Madam Speaker. I rise today to enthusiastically, to loudly and proudly support Bill 24. That shouldn't be all that difficult, Madam Speaker, in 2017, to stand up for a bill that does nothing more than protect fundamental human rights, the fundamental human rights of students in this province to live the lives that they were born to live the lives they choose to live, and to do so in safety. One of the points of discussion and debate on this bill have been whether we should trust parents to do the right thing, whether we should trust teachers to make the right assessments of safety and danger to children in schools. The vast majority of parents in our province are loving, caring, responsible parents. But this bill protects children who unfortunately don't have those parents. That's not a lot, but it's a lot more than zero. How do we know who those parents are? We don't know that. And while I have tremendous respect for Alberta's teachers, it is not within their purview to make that determination. They can't always know what's happening at home. I don't think any teacher can say they always know what's happening at home. So there is tremendous risk to LGBTQ2S+ students in this province if they are outed without their permission. This is about fundamental human rights, as I've said. What GSAs do is create a welcoming, caring, respectful, safe, inclusive environment for all students. There's very clear research that shows LGBTQ students are more likely to feel safe and are more comfortable about being open in their sexual orientation, exploring gender identity and gender expression in schools with GSAs or QSAs because they provide that place to create a sense of belonging. That, again, shouldn't be a tremendously controversial statement like the member for Stony Plain. My daughter is a member of a GSA, and I know that because she told me in her time, in her way, that was important to her, to be an ally, to explore who she is in this world. And we're able to have that conversation. I'm getting a tiny bit emotional, because that's the relationship we have, and I cherish that more than I can express in words. And I think that's the situation for the vast majority of children, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But that's not the situation for all children. The risks are clear. Between 25% and 40% of homeless youth identify as LGBTQ. That is a shocking and sobering and frightening statistic. And GSAs help those students ensure that they have a chance at a better education because they are focused on their studies, not focused on what might happen at home should someone out them without their permission. It has a tremendous positive impact on their academic performance. They have higher self-esteem, greater school achievement, improved attendance, increased sense of empowerment and hope. They make new friendships. They've improved home and school relationships. They're more comfortable being visible as LGBTQ or allies. They reduce their stress due to hiding one's identity, increase confidence, enhance sense of pride. Now, Madam Speaker, this is the lived reality of members of this Assembly. And I want to recognize and honor those members of this Assembly who shared that lived experience with us. It takes a tremendous amount of bravery to do that, and I just want them to know that I believe very much that the positive impact they've had on our community hasn't gone unnoticed. Who knows what's going to happen in the next election? Who knows what's going to happen next week? We have no idea. But I know, and I want those members to know that the impact that they've had on our community, on LGBTQ youth in particular, is tremendously positive, and it's a remarkable and wonderful legacy of their time as members. Long may it continue, but know, I think, that you have made a tremendous contribution. I do want to make some comments about some of the words I've heard in opposition to this bill, which, again, I find mind-boggling that we would actually, in 2017, even be debating such a thing. But here we are. There have been mentions by the Honourable Education Minister for the UCP that in his time as teacher he would have interesting and challenging discussions about basketball with the students' parents, or perhaps appropriate dress, hats and T-shirts and such. It stuns me to think that that's somehow comparable to the gender identity and the struggles that a teenager may be having. That's chalk and cheese. Those are completely, utterly different things. There's not much risk that a child is going to be kicked out of the home for their love of basketball. That's a completely different thing. And, and just earlier today, the member for Airdrie had talked about the economic impact that we as legislators ought to be dealing with, the challenging job situation, debt and deficit issues that are facing our province, and those are very important issues. Undeniably, they're very important issues, but surely to goodness, this legislature should be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. These things are not mutually exclusive. It's not that we can't address the human side and the economic side at the same time. But if we'd like to address the economic side through GSAs, why don't we do that? In British Columbia, there's research that found gay-straight alliance clubs save a school as much as $70,000 a year in health-related costs and prevent as many as 7 suicide attempts. That's just remarkable. The human impact of a GSA is well known. We know that. There's also an economic impact. There's absolutely no reason not to support this bill. So, Madam Speaker, in conclusion to my brief remarks here at second reading, it is silly to suggest that this bill is only a political wedge, a political ploy. It is a bill that fulfills what the Alberta Party has been calling for. It protects some of the most vulnerable students in our society who need our help and protection. It shouldn't be that difficult in 2017 to say that it's not okay to discriminate against LGBTQ2S+ children. That, by the way, there are such a thing as teenagers who are LGBTQ. That's a fact. That's a fundamental, simple fact. And those students some of them are at risk. The job of us in this assembly as legislators is to protect those who are at risk. That is our job. We have a very simple job in this case ahead of us, before us, because the bill, I think, does a very, very good job of it. All people, all students deserve that respect. They deserve that protection. They deserve us to pass Bill 24. Thank you, Madam Speaker.